What are you thinking about now?
Oh, well, I'm just thinking about what to think about.
We're approaching one of my favorite times in the games industry, and of course, I'm not talking about E3. That just finished. What I'm talking about is the fact that as a fandom, the Kingdom Hearts community is just far enough away from the release of the last game that we should be beginning to think about the concept of the next Kingdom Hearts game, which means the discourse is back. And that always leads to one of two things. So we're going to talk about that today. And the thing we're not talking about is touching tips. No, today we're talking about the Kingdom Hearts conversation. The discussion that is so heated and rooted in speculation above fact or evidence. I'm of course referring to the hype around what Disney worlds will get adapted in the next entry. Kingdom Hearts has always had one foot in the world of Walt, and since its inception, the majority of what we do in each entry is set against the backdrop of Walt Disney Productions. Kingdom Hearts was a huge success out the gate, but you can only assume they didn't know for sure it would have been. Sure, we get some classics represented in the game like Peter Pan in Neverland or Pinocchio and Monstro, but Beauty and the Beast? Lion King? You need to be a proven winner if you want to use those IP. Kingdom Hearts to Kingdom Hearts 2 was probably the first gap or moment in the fandom where these conversations happened. I mean, I wouldn't know, I was 5 at the time, in between those games releasing, but I was there for plenty of discussion post 2 leading up to 3. And let me tell you, I've had enough discussion, debate, discourse, and speculation around Disney Worlds and Kingdom Hearts games for the next 13 games in the series. And oh boy, leading into Kingdom Hearts 3, after seeing Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop adapt popular, at the time of release, new Disney Worlds, like Lilo and Stitch or Tron Legacy, the early 2010s financial decisions of Disney dominated the speculation behind worlds for Kingdom Hearts 3. And you guessed it, Marvel. Marvel, and listen, I love Marvel. Don't get me wrong, the MCU is probably my favorite entertainment thing that exists. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. Hell, I have 250 hours logged in the Avengers game. I love Marvel, but it's just a fan request I grew so tired of hearing, especially when people act like they thought of that. And it stinks, it's a little salty, because we still don't, even in Kingdom Hearts 3, we still don't have a Treasure Planet world after all these years. The last decade saw Disney expand their reach significantly, and with it, some of the most iconic entertainment franchises of all time came along. Marvel and Star Wars led the top of the list in terms of a single brand, and of course the Kingdom Hearts community latched on. Marvel would be cool eventually, but Iron Man flying around with Sora or trying to team up with Spider-Man just doesn't make sense. What story would you adapt? The MCU? The comics? There's no iconic story adaptation that already exists to replicate the way we see the series do so often. And the contrary to what the internet says, since Kingdom Hearts 1, every Kingdom Hearts world is a retelling of the movie the world is drawn from, or its sequels. Except some of them just have a musical number in the middle of it.
Let it go.
I took the liberty of compiling every IP that Disney owns in the year 2021, and we're going to list the ones that deserve to be in the game before Marvel. Here we go. Alien. James Cameron's Avatar. Just like Avatar itself works in the form of a video game, becoming somebody else, an avatar for the player. It makes sense. Blue Doll, Goofy and Sora. Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipmunk Sora. Casper, Ghost Sora. The Chronicles of Narnia. Home Alone, Sora would love to fight robbers and shoot them in the nuts with a BB gun. Ice Age. Night at the Museum. Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson should be in Kingdom Hearts by now. That once the show comes out, that's what we get. That's what we get. Planet of the Apes, The Muppets. The Muppets is one that I have wanted for a very long time. One of my favorite things about Kingdom Hearts is traveling to unique worlds, giving Sora, Donald, and Goofy a unique disguise to fit in place with the world. Not only would I love to see a production of The Muppet Show run amok by the Heartless meddling and Sora having to step in to save the day, fighting alongside Kermit the Frog with a banjo, it would be jolly as hell and something that fits Kingdom Hearts and its whimsy very, very well. DuckTales, Kim Possible, Phineas and Ferb, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, people like game shows. Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Recreating the story of A New Hope with Sora joining Luke, Han, Leia, seeing Donald and Chewie bicker in the halls of the Death Star, leading to a confrontation fighting alongside Ben Kenobi against Vader, working with Maleficent and the Darkness makes so much sense. And, you know, you'd also finally get the lightsaber Keyblade. WALL-E, Atlantis, Brother Bear, The Emperor's New Groove, George of the Jungle, Deep Jungle we can't do anymore for some weird copyright reason that I didn't research. The Haunted Mansion, people love that ride, right? Get some Disney rides in there. That was 3's gimmick. Disney rides, get the Haunted Mansion in here. The Mighty Ducks.
Later.
National Treasure. Of course, Who Framed Roger Rabbit so Mickey can make his return, and Treasure Planet. If it's one, it's that. Treasure Planet is begging to be brought to life in Kingdom Hearts. Aside from Muppets, it's my longest, most wanted world to be added to the series. Space Pirates! Space Pirates! Jim Hawkins would fit in perfectly amongst the crew, and his journey of discovery and Long John Silver's eventual turn to altruism to save the day in a last-ditch effort is perfect for a Kingdom Hearts story. And you know, maybe it's unhealthy, maybe the cholesterol's a bit too high right now, but I am a little bit salty that pirates were in play in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it wasn't Treasure Planet. Like, we skipped the Kraken! We could have been Jim Hawkins in the party. That could have been what we got, but you know, I guess for the next few years, I'm just gonna have to carry that banner for Treasure Planet in Kingdom Hearts 4. But, you know, maybe it's not going to be so bad, because it sounds like the speculation / rumor is that the next game is Square Enix only. And hey, if that's the case, then we don't have to worry about any Disney Worlds, let alone Marvel. Wait. Hello?
Hi, Christian. Is this the Chun2D2 Show?
Yes, is this Mr. Mouse?
Yep, it's me, Mickey Mouse.
I mean, thank you for reaching out. I didn't know you were a fan.
So I hear the internet's not too satisfied with Marvel and Kingdom Hearts, is that correct?
I mean, yeah, but I personally, you know, Mr. Mouse, I would really love if we got Treasure Planet. I think Treasure Planet would be
Yeah, that's great, but here's where you're wrong, pal. We already put a Marvel world in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, you mean Big Hero 6, don't you?
Hmm? Well, I think the internet's talking a bit more like the Iron Man with the Robert Downey Jr. when we want the Marvel world in Kingdom Hearts.
Pete? Pete, Mickey, you're on the phone with Pete right now?
Pete, what are you doing here? I thought we made things clear on Steamboat.
Wait, all right, guys, I gotta go. Big fan. Treasure Planet. Miska.
Now what do we do?
You know what? I really don't know.